This episode contains discussions that reference domestic violence and child mortality. Listener/viewer discretion is advised.
As we all know, going into fitness, you build confidence. The more you progress and the more you win, the more your confidence grows within the gym that then spills out into your real life. I left home and it was my responsibility to fend. And knowing that if you fail, there is no door open for you. I walked into a kickboxing gym. It was a male-dominant gym. The thought of this young 21-year-old trying to make a break in a fight gym that's never had this happen before. If you genuinely believe in what you're doing, your service, if you're great at your service and you know what the purpose of your service is, then you will never go a day without fighting for it.
I'm Lorna Jane Clarkson, activewear designer, author and founder of Lorna Jane. And this is Never Give Up, a series where we explore the stories of women who have faced challenges head on and come out stronger. In this episode, I'm joined by Chontel Duncan, a fitness entrepreneur and mum whose story proves the power of purpose, passion, and perseverance. Chontel shares how sport and fitness helped her break away from a difficult early life and build the confidence that changed everything. From lacing up her first pair of sneakers to inspiring people worldwide. Chontel Duncan, welcome. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure and I'm so excited for today.
Yeah. We go back, way back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Pre-children.
Pre-children. Oh.
Yeah.
And you've done multiple Active Nation Day events for us. And it's really weird because they're not weird, but funny at Lorna Jane head office because we'll say, let's get Chontel Duncan. She'll bring all her friends. And we know the event is going to be our community plus your community. It will be a real success. So thank you for supporting us in that way. It's always been so good. We call you and you're there in an instant. And...
We're Brisbane business ladies, so it works hand in hand. It's always been very, very blessed to be in your city, and I guess, my friends can come. It's only around the corner.
And she has a lot of friends, Okay, let's start. I want to hear a little bit more about you, things that I don't already know.
Yes.
So let's start at the beginning. What was your childhood like and who were the biggest influences growing up?
I'll put it really simple. My upbringing, while it has created the person that I am today, and I am actually grateful for a lot of it was hard. There's no other way to explain it. It was really hard. And influences or positive influences to look up to, I think, one, it's a privilege to have someone that you can be inspired by. And I didn't have anyone. There wasn't social media, and in my family or in my circle, my unit, there wasn't anyone that I wanted to become. So it was all about just backing myself and believing in myself, but also never giving up.
Yeah, I mean, for a young girl to not have those positive influences in her life, but also to actually know that these people, I don't want to be like them. I need to step out of this and become you, which is really incredible. Shows that you had something. Was it resilience? Was it bravery? Was there someone at school that you saw, like another family? I know I had no entrepreneurs in my life that I could look up to, but my best friend, her father had his own business, and I loved their family because, my family was great, but my mum was always working, and but her mum was always home, and I just loved being in their house. Yeah. And I feel like, and I always say this to Ray's mama, I just love her dearly. Her father's not here now, which is so sad, but how much she influenced me because they allowed me to see that there was something other, not that my life was terrible at all, but there was something else, like something bigger that I could aspire to. Did you have anything like that?
Taking it back to the, I guess, not so positive influence, I knew what I didn't want to do. I knew what I didn't want to become, and I knew I wanted to break the chain. And subconsciously, without trying to use this as a mechanism to cope, I leaned into sport and having a coach that would push. And as we all know, going into fitness, you build confidence. The more you progress and the more you win, the more your confidence grows within the gym that then spills out into your real life. So I was exposed in a mainstream school with different coaches, and I kind of escaped and tried to stay busy with sports. So I put my hand up for a lot of things. But the way you just put it then, now thinking about it, I guess it was coaches and seeing other students, I guess, go really hard and having that family network that would be there clapping and cheering them on or supporting me and driving me with them and always helping me get to training or to divisions and other metropolitan competitions and things like that. So allowing me to explore my strengths.
Yeah.
That definitely built I would say almost not the people pleasing, but more so the willingness to help others, and showed me what it's like to feel like you have nothing but kindness from others.
Yeah.
And the power of that.
Yeah. And I love that sense of community that seems to have wrapped its arms around you, and all your friends' mums said, oh, yeah, we can take Chontel, let's go, you know. Like, I feel like I had a lot of that growing up as well, and, yeah, I'm so grateful for it.
Definitely. I think that now that you keep giving me these aha thoughts, and it definitely makes a lot of sense why I am the way I am with our facility that we run and having such a large family. And, yeah, it's all about your family is the people you choose. And that's definitely how it felt.
I agree. I agree. Well done.
Thank you.
You're such a light and such a huge success, so you've done really well. You started your career in fitness as a personal trainer.
Yes.
Can you tell us, when was that moment that you thought, I can be more than a personal trainer, I can build a business out of this?
So, little backstory to this. I got back into fitness, and firstly, going from school where I would put myself, and it was easy to get yourself signed up into sports and whatnot. And then I left school, and it was survival. I left home, and it was my responsibility to fend. So budgeting, working minimum 2 or 3 jobs, and knowing that if you fail, there is no door open for you. So you need to work hard. And that's where I felt the power of no one can deny you of hard work. And there's no way that I can't get to where everyone else is going, because I will never give up. It just might be at a different starting point.
Yeah.
I hit 21, 3-4 years after leaving school, hadn't done any sport, didn't go to a gym, and I looked in the mirror and I thought to myself, you're not breaking the chain. You're not making that break. You're sitting there at the bottom of the food chain everywhere you work, you're copying toxic behaviours, and you're not standing up for yourself or seeing your worth. Then from there, I bought my first pair of sneakers, and this is something you don't know. I never believed that I was good enough for things because I didn't have any silver platter. There was no money. And I bought my first ever inspiration tank that said never give up. And it was, I grabbed the pink one.
Stop that.
I grabbed the pink one, the one that had the biggest brand on it, because I was wearing a brand. And I was so excited and so proud. It was like a pivotal moment for me that I could wear something, and I bought it with my own money. And it was a female-run company.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was
the only company that was.
It was the cheapest thing that I could find in your store, and I wore it to death. I think it was not pink by the time I had to get rid of it. But I just remember that moment, and my husband and I would run the streets and just try to get fitter and fitter and fitter. And from there, I walked into a kickboxing gym, and it was a male-dominant gym. I didn't want to fight. It was a little bit of a trigger for me just from my upbringing with DV, and the coach was fine to do non-contact training. I really, really admire the discipline in that sport and the fact that my brain switches off. I'm trying to remember combinations, and for a little moment there's nothing that I can think about, and the noise switches off, and all I focus on is trying to get my breath. And that silence was so powerful, and I wanted this for other women. So I went and got qualified. Social media started to come about. There was this thing called Instagram, and I just wanted to change lives. I felt so good about myself. It wasn't an aesthetic change. It was literally that I just felt confident. I didn't know how to explain it, and I didn't know how to articulate why I was feeling this way, but I knew it was the responsibility of the discipline that I had. And from there, I got qualified and I approached the coach at this fight gym, this very male-dominant fight gym, and I said, hey, I've got an idea, and I always come in with so much confidence, and I pitched this idea and said, the concept is I want to be your first female trainer. I don't fight, so I want to do fitness for Muay Thai for females with a non-intimidating style of training and show them your sport and how amazing it is to transform lives. And it wasn't accepted with open arms. I almost felt like the silence was laughter at the thought of this young 20, 21-year-old trying to make a break in a fight gym that's never had this happen before. And the rent that was offered to me for a patch of carpet, I wasn't allowed in the ring unless the gym was empty and there was no equipment. I had to buy my own pads, was $600 a week rent. And that's $200 or $300 more than where I lived, and I had 4 or 5 people to rent rooms out so that we could afford rent. And I said, for all these women, I said yes. I knew that I could do it because I'll work from the start to the end. I'll be the first one there, the last one to leave. And I built this business up with 115 personal training sessions a week, plus a few classes that would cap out weeks in advance. And I couldn't fit in the gym. And it started to become a little bit hard in there as well. Doing well isn't going to always be accepted and clapped. And that's when I knew. You've got something. There are women out there like you.
That's a defining moment, that moment when you think, you know, you stand in front of the class and think, wow, well, you look at the timetable and it's full and you go, wow.
Yeah.
And that defining moment gives you the courage to then go, well, I'm going to go out on my own.
Yes.
And I'm going to do something where they will clap me and where I can grow. So well done.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
It took less than 9 months.
Wow.
And I was tired, but I had no children. I had all the time in the world for this, and I was driven by passion.
Yeah.
And also driven by people that didn't believe in me, because that's how I felt all my life. I was squashed all the time.
Yeah.
And I always lost the colour out of my day and had to put on this front. So I was fully capable of putting on a front and saying yes and shaking the hand and paying the money. I ran up and down streets, putting letterbox pamphlets in, and
remember that when we used to get pamphlets in the letterbox?
Yeah, but I couldn't afford to pay for it, so I did it myself. I used my fitness time to deliver, and I posted every day. I shared everything. I just deleted the cringe. I didn't care what people thought. I knew what I was doing, and I was very niche in what I was doing, so I just had to bag it. Like, I was living proof that it worked, and that's what was my confidence.
Yeah. You physically and with your positivity was the inspiration that people, the catalyst that wanted people to get involved.
Yes.
You know, so, and it was all women? Did you have any men?
They would bring their partners.
Yeah.
And eventually, once we opened the gym and I got a lease to a facility, my husband had to quit his job. I could not handle the numbers coming through.
How scary is that when your husband,
Has
that day,
the provider.
I remember when Bill quit his job to join me. I think it was 2 or 3 years in. And it's okay for you to quit your job or try something, because you've still got them. Like they could, their salary or their wage.
There's a slight limit of risk because they've got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but then when you both sort of do it, it's like, whoa. But then you step up a notch. You know, it's like, well, now we really have to be serious. Like, you didn't think there was another notch, but there is.
Yes, high
and you
pressure and high stress is high performance. I feel you don't know your fight when things are going well. When it's low stress, you don't fight as hard. But when things crash, this solution-orientated superpower comes through, and then you fight more and you find more in you.
It's that fight or flight type
Good
thing.
on Bill.
Yeah. Good on Bill, yeah. Good on Sam.
Good on
we
Sam.
love them both. I read somewhere that you had lived in Sam's parents' garage, was it? I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, there was a
for
moment.
a while, like...
Because we were renting, as soon as we left school, that was it, we were on our own. And
So how long have you been together?
since I was 14.
Wow.
And I do believe that my longing for affection and love from someone drew me to falling in love quickly. I was just very, very lucky that it was someone that was very aligned and had a very similar, if not harder, upbringing, and just really quickly, he is a New Zealander. He came from women refuges escaping domestic violence from his stepdad, and eventually the police brought them over here and they started their new life. They lived in housing commission. So meeting him, I had no judgment because I thought I was the bottom of I was the worst that you could be. So I looked up to everyone, and his mum worked so hard. He had a really beautiful relationship with all his brothers, so they were rich to me. He lived in the garage of the Housing Commission home. But anyways, we just didn't set ourselves up one time, and the lease ran out, another lease failed, and we were really stuck. And his mum, without hesitation, said, come move in. The garage, I'll clean the garage out. This garage was not nice. The house was not well looked after.
I bet you made it nice though.
We put a rug in there, clothes racks and TV, a fridge. We made it it looked like a little condo, shall I say. But it was just what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, Bill and I lived, this will sound worse than it is, but when we had our first factory, because we used to make our product as well, we had it in the valley. We bought this building, which my family thought we were absolutely crazy. We sold our house. We were fortunate because when we met, we both had houses, so we both sold them, and then we had enough money to buy something better together. Yeah, it is. And we bought this derelict, warehouse in the valley. It's where Stone and Wood is now. That was our first building. Yeah.
Okay.
Right on the railway. It feels like the trains are coming in your bedroom.
But you would have felt like it was...
It was ours.
Huge.
And we lived there and had our warehouse and factory and sewing machines and everything there for years. And I actually thought of it as a luxury because I could go home and make my lunch, watch a bit of Oprah while I was at 1 o'clock and have my lunch, and then go to work. I could go into the warehouse in the morning, set everyone up because they started early at 7, and then go for my run. For me, it was like something that really made my life easier to do. So... yeah, I never thought that, only when someone like my friends would come over and they were going through that stage where they had 2 cars. Bill and I were surviving on one, and they were going on holidays, and we never had a holiday.
Yeah.
And it was only when their daughter, I remember one of my best friend's daughter saying, why does Lorna live in her factory? That I thought, yeah, this does look a bit weird, but it works.
It works. Yeah. And I think that's such a important thing. And I try to share it as much as I can, but I don't want to waffle on every day on socials, but I think it's so important for women and just everyone to understand that you got to start somewhere, and it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And
because it's easy to look at your life and look at my life now and think, oh, they're lucky they've got this, this and this and this, but we didn't start with that.
No, people will always be jealous of the outcome and the result, but they would never be jealous of the journey. It's not desirable.
We used to go to trade shows, and we had a little old Honda Civic hatch, and we used to call it the Honda Ute because we used to pile the clothes in it. We'd go to the US for conventions and we'd just roll it all up in our luggage, because we couldn't afford freight. But they're the good memories. It was tough.
I'm smiling because I think that's so fun that you got to experience that with Bill.
Yeah, and it's we really did. Both of us can say we really did build this from the ground up.
Yeah.
Because, we've done those things that most people wouldn't do these days,
Yeah. No ego whatsoever.
Yeah. So congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Amazing.
As an entrepreneur in the wellness space, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the early days, and how did you overcome them? We've sort of covered that.
There's always challenges though, isn't there? And my heart and my business brain always clash. I think that's a hard one for me. And the balance between now being a mum, COVID, everything comes with its own little hurdles, but I almost feel like they're the moments that pull you to the next season and the next pillar that you need to launch into. And business is all about pivoting, right? So we have to have that mindset where a challenge or an issue becomes more of an opportunity than a setback. I think that's probably my biggest lesson that I've learned, to be more resilient in looking at issues and seeing the opportunity and feeling privileged to be able to experience these so that I can build myself even better.
Yeah, because every decision is not a great decision, and you're allowed to say, this isn't working. Like, we had to close our stores in the US with COVID because we couldn't go there. And we were just watching the figures falling. And, we were given the opportunity with the US government to close the stores, and it felt terrible. Like, I felt like, well, both Bill and myself felt like, we're no good at this, we're a failure. But we weren't. It was actually the better decision for our business, our bigger business, or businesses in Australia, New Zealand, China. So I guess in that instance, we didn't make a mistake, but we had to make a decision. What's more important? Keep going and possibly lose more money? Or just say, okay, we're closing those stores, we'll just keep it online and we'll focus on our business that we can actually walk into the retail stores and make a difference.
Learning to try things and be okay that it might not be the right move.
Oh, but for me, it was almost like the shame of it that, everyone's going to say Lorna Jane closes her US stores. And then in my head, I'm like saying, well, everyone else would do it, and we did the right thing. We paid all our staff. We did everything right, but it just felt, like we were
it's a
failing
hard
at
pill to
something.
swallow, and it's the defeat really kills you because you're consistently working on growth and you've done so well. And that happened with us with the franchise, with all the gyms. We came through COVID really hard, and then from that point, I looked at my husband and I said, it's killing us personally. The franchise is not, we've lost our soul trying to raise these gyms and forgot the whole reason why we started, which was to change lives.
Yeah, you come back to your purpose and you
putting
say,
so much,
not aligned.
Not aligned. We're putting so much energy into business for money, but not hands-on with the community. I felt so detached. I think that was the hardest thing, is I felt so detached, and my husband wears his heart on his sleeve heavily. As you would know, like Bill doing what he did, like Sam doing what he did, what type of human they are. And I could see it just slowly killing him.
As I say, you've got to make the right decisions for your business at the time. And pre-COVID, those franchises were a good decision, but times changed. And some things will never be the same after COVID. So then you need to make the next good decision, which is don't have them anymore. When we first started Lorna Jane, because we own all of our stores, when we first started, we had a lovely couple on the Gold Coast to open some stores for us. And it was a franchise, but it wasn't like an official agreement or anything like that, but they owned half the store and stuff. And it was a really great lesson for us because, as I said, great couple, hardworking, but balancing what is actually for you, the HIIT business, and their centre is really difficult because all of the acclaim that comes to the HIIT business, which is your business, and all of the stuff that you own and their centre is so different because all they own is their centre, and all my partners owned was their store. So they can't have they don't own the IP. They don't own, so it's very tricky, and you start to feel like, this is not nice. I don't want to have these conversations. They're wanting to put things in their stores that I don't believe are aligned with Lorna Jane. And maybe we just need to control it all ourselves. Maybe that's who we are.
And that's why you've gotten to where you are. Real. That's honestly,
because people can't believe that we own all the stores, but for me, it's the only way to do it.
That's how you've survived, right?
Because you can pivot, you can make decisions. You don't have to have like a board meeting with 20,000 people to make a decision.
There's no body corporate there. No.
You're like kidding. It's like, I just can't do that. And like Bill and I just recently during COVID, we bought our business back because we had 40% partners. And even that, they were great partners. But just now, you're right. Like,
when your heart goes in a direction, you can make change. And
I don't want
that's how the business grew.
I don't want to sell it to someone else. I just want to do it. I don't want to lose 2 weeks,
Yes.
The advantage of being first.
Yeah.
We're kindred spirits, Chontel. You met your husband, Sam, at age 14. We've covered that. You've been married now for 11 years.
I should know this. I think we got married in 2012. No, 2000 and... Oh, my gosh, Lorna, I should know this answer. We got together in 2002, married in 2014.
So, 11 years.
It's, there you go.
2025. You have 5 children.
Yes.
My hat goes off to you. You run a fitness centre and have an online fitness app. Can you tell me what your life looks like? I sort of know from social.
Yeah.
What it looks like on a day-to-day basis. Like, how do you manage all of that?
One, an amazing unit with my husband. I couldn't do it without him, and I don't want to take the credit for what we see online. It's definitely, without him, I couldn't have 5 children, logistically, yes, but also I wouldn't be able to be a good mum and feel like a good mum if I didn't have a supportive partner and someone who doesn't hold anything over my head. And you know when they're running the show that their integrity and intention is always on the best interest for you, and they're always going to go above and beyond to protect you. So I've been able to flourish and do the things that my heart desires and my crazy ideas and everything that I dream of, big or small. I've always had him make it happen. And that is one big reason why I can do this. But the way it works is every night we look at the calendar. Who's got swimming? Who's got BJJ? Who's taking them to football? Are we going to Nippers this weekend? Okay, do we need to carpool? What meeting are you in? When are you training? And then on the day we're calling, because we're in and out of the office, we're not together every day because you got to pivot because a kid got sick or the gym needs us to head over there and a staff member needed something. So then the training regime changes and Sam doesn't go off the calendar, and it just always changes, and I do enjoy that. And I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, which makes a lot of sense when it comes to how I work and the things that I do, but that style of living works for me. I thrive in chaos and I love the excitement, I guess, of the days always changing and being different. So today I'm here, he did everything at home, then he goes into the office with 2 kids that are on school holidays and he'll go pick them up, he'll go to the gym and have them in the kids' room while he's at gym, and then he'll come home, do dinner, and then when I get home the house should be all locked up and everyone's in bed. And
your house always looks tidy. Always.
It is not, but
on the other side of the camera, maybe not.
I definitely clean at the end of the night. Once the house is quiet, I'll go to town and tidy everything and set it all up. But during the day, I just have to surrender. Children have definitely taught me to have patience and to surrender and not have everything perfect at all times. That they've definitely taught me to slow down and enjoy life a lot more. Otherwise, I would be doing a lot more.
Yeah. So I work with my husband, obviously live with my husband too, he's my husband. But it almost seems like what you and Sam have is you work together, but you also have, and not that having children is work, but you need it's almost like having 2 jobs because you have to be so well planned and you want them to go to this sport and you want them to do all of those things. You can't leave them at school or forget them at daycare, you know. So, I hear what you say. It's having that person, because people ask me all the time, how do you work with your husband, you know?
Yeah.
But having that person that you know will do it the same as you. And if not, he will be thinking about you while he changes it and does it differently.
Yeah.
You know that he's always got your back. You know that he cares about you and your children above everything else. So you can surrender.
Yeah, it's so stress-free working with your husband if that is the unit that you have and the team that you guys developed.
Yeah.
And I agree 100%. It's lessened so many things that could just add to the pool of stress of running a company.
Yeah, and you sort of know them so intimately that you know what they're not good at. Like, don't pack the dishwasher, darling, I'll do that.
Yes.
But you can make the bed.
And you can clash and have disagreements and hard conversations, but you move on instantly. There's no but-hurt, grudge. There's nothing like that. And all right, well, let's go get a coffee.
Yeah, Bill and I never blame.
Yeah.
So, we all make mistakes and we could make a big mistake. Yeah. Say, for example, this didn't happen, but say I smashed the car or something. There's no, you drive too fast or you're terrible at parking. There's none of that. It's just like, because no one goes out to do something. No one goes out to lose their wedding ring, which I did do. No one goes out to do any of those things.
I forgot to wear mine. It's okay.
I do that all the time too because I take it off when I'm training.
Yes.
no one intends to do something wrong or forget to pay a bill or whatever. So there's no use blaming. And I think that's the key to Bill and I, is that we just don't blame each other. You know, we say, oh, that could happen. Let's just make sure it doesn't, happen again. Like, that's a shame that happened to us.
Yes. You don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah.
Or the big stuff, because some of the mistakes can be quite big.
Yeah. Expensive.
Okay. You're obviously the founder of a successful fitness brand. Congratulations.
Thank you.
With both online and bricks and mortar. Can you share with us the challenges you face while scaling your business? And do you have any advice for people doing the same?
My biggest piece of advice is know your why. If you genuinely believe in what you're doing, your service, if you're great at your service and you know what the purpose of your service is, then you will never go a day without fighting for it. And you'll never lose passion for what you're doing, because fatigue in life is very common.
Yeah.
But I think what's helped Sam and I, especially me, pursue and get through the good and the hard is the fact that I know my why, and I'm so glued shut with that. It never pivots and changes my reason why. I just grow and evolve as my seasons change.
Yeah.
And, I've been torn to shreds online before. I remember my first pregnancy, it was so foreign for women to share so much with training and pregnancy.
Let's talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and before I get into that pregnancy, I actually had another moment which you're involved with. And this is before the pregnancy shoot I did for Lorna Jane.
Yeah.
I got invited to be one of your models for one of your campaigns, and I wasn't pregnant. But this moment was the buying of the singlet.
Okay.
I not only was that girl who started nowhere, had nothing, and didn't not only have no money, but I also had nothing to fall on. I had no support, but I bought myself my first Lorna Jane singlet, and that was huge. And then I got invited by yourself to model and represent women in Lorna Jane, and that was when I knew I could do anything I put my mind to. So I was actually 8 weeks pregnant in that shoot, but I didn't tell anyone. And I thought, how ironic. I have trained for years. I've done so well with my bodybuilding. I have been in the best tip-top shape, and I am modelling for the GOAT pregnant. Hold it in, Sean.
Well, we didn't know.
We did not know. No one knew.
No.
We kept it a secret, and so I had to share that with you because it was huge. It was such a huge moment for me. I still remember Kangaroo Point stairs. Is when we did the shoot.
I remember too, yeah.
So anyways, I shared my fitness online through my pregnancy. I worked with a really incredible team, and he basically just said, you're not the average person, so you're not going to have an average pregnancy. And it's on you, but what you're doing, I 100% approve. And I was getting checked heavily, mainly because I was under his care and I was someone online. And it wasn't received well. It was and it wasn't. And I just stuck to my gun. I knew what I was doing, and I knew I needed to stand up for every woman, not to train pregnant, but every woman to stand up for themselves.
Yeah, to make their own decisions.
I am so used to being torn to shreds. I'm so used to not being loved or being put down. That does not shake me. That just motivates me and pushes me to keep going. So I stood there for every woman who's ever been told by their partner or their family or kids at school that they're not good enough, or someone at work. And that pregnancy turned out to be a healthy baby boy, and I am now 5 babies in, proving that exercising with pregnancy is under the care of your professional team is safe, and that your body is designed to be pregnant.
So when you have then, through your other pregnancies, still trained, has the criticism stopped, or does it still continue?
Crickets. No one talks to me negatively. I probably get one negative comment once every 6 months. I don't cop it anymore, and it's very ironic because I was broadcasted for having a real negative attention with my pregnancy. But, it just is what it is. People get to see the true colours, and I kept putting one foot in front of the other. I stood with my head up and I knew who I was and where I came from and what I was here to do. So I think that's just women really knowing their worth and their confidence and not letting others
standing up
tear
for
it.
yourself. You know, like I know whenever I have copped criticism, I'm the same as you. I don't get that much online, but I have had it, you know, through mainstream media. And you do have to stand up for yourself, because before I used to think, you know, never complain, never explain, you know, that sort of thing. But now I know you have to stand up. And when you do, it silences people.
Yeah.
You know, you really do have to find your voice, even though when things are happening, you don't want to go out there and say more and think it might fuel the fire. You really do need to stand up for yourself. And
100%.
that would be advice I would give to anybody is, stand up for what you believe in.
And don't let them stop you. Keep going and show them.
Yeah. Oh, do the work.
Do the work.
Do the work.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about your approach to online fitness communities that sets you apart?
I don't focus on what everyone's doing, and that's probably my biggest advice when it comes to, I guess, again, running your own company or going online and doing health and fitness, is don't compare yourself to others. And the easiest way to stop that is don't sit there comparing yourself to what they're doing and how well they're doing. Stop scrolling. I will reshare someone saying they lost 2 kilos or they have finally done this, or the smallest of things. I just do me. And I think what makes me different is that I've always stayed true to who I am from day one to now, but I've always been on the floor with my community. I'm not on stage.
Literally.
Yeah. Actual. I've been on the floor. I'm open. I'm honest. I share who I am and where I came from. And I think the greatest success that you can have is understanding yourself more and knowing who you are and where you came from. Because the more you understand about yourself, the more power you have in standing on your own 2 feet and not feeling confused and poorly influenced to try be something you're not. I'm proud of where I came from.
Yeah, I think you should be too, and you should be proud of what you've achieved. And I know it's probably just the beginning. I mean, I'm sure there's so much more to come, but you know, you're an incredible inspiration.
Thank you. I like to think I might be that person for someone that I wish I saw, or I wish I had when I was younger. But now Sam and I, we just vicariously live through our family and we create the life we wish we had.
Yeah.
Together.
I think you are that person for a lot of people. Don't you have like 1 million followers?
Something like that.
Oh, I guess it's more.
It's so
I bet you
weird.
it's more. I think
it's so
1.1 or I'm sure it's changing.
Just, I'm still that Redlands girl from Brisbane.
I read something once that said something like, why are we upset if we only get 20 likes? Because if we had 20 people coming up to us and paying us a compliment in real life, it would really make our day.
That's so true.
It's so true, isn't it?
Yes.
It just puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
So tomorrow when you look at all the likes, or this afternoon when you look at all the likes on your social media or on your fitness app, you can go, wow, that's great. 400,000.
It's not that bad.
Okay, so running a business is no easy task, especially when you're the face of the brand and raising 5 beautiful children. How do you maintain your fitness while hitting all your business goals?
I just keep reminding myself that if I serve mum, I fill mum's cup up, I can pour from a full cup. And not only am I showing my children the real world, hard work, mum has to work, and coming home with this abundance of energy and these endorphins, I think it's the guilt that plays a huge role on why we can't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And yes, there are other contributing factors, but guilt is number one. And I think having your mind reframed and just focusing on the positive side, because you can focus on all the negative and that's all your experience. But if you focus on everything that's going well and all the beautiful things, then you'll have a really fruitful life.
Yeah.
So I always remind myself that my kids need me to be at my best.
Yeah.
They don't need me to have abs. They just need me to be at my best. And those other amazing aesthetics that come with it are just the icing on top.
But they also need you as that example that you didn't have. And part of that example is you taking care of yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they are learning to take care of themselves at the same time. So,
And I wish that was the case when I grew up. I wish that was important, that my significance did that and they put themselves first, because maybe I would have had a different upbringing.
yeah.
I don't know.
But you've changed it.
Yeah.
You've broken through.
I broke that chain, Lorna.
Yeah, I know. That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's incredible. If you had to sum up the most important components of staying healthy while balancing a busy lifestyle, what would they be? The most important components.
Balance. Balance is key. If you dive too deep into one, you'll suffocate and you'll feel that tension. If you find balance, which is always changing and you're always having to walk left and right and try shimmy things around. But for myself and Sam, we always pre-plan holidays a year or 6 months in advance so we know we're working towards something.
That's a good idea.
And when we have those weeks and there's a lot of travel or there's a lot of late nights or after school care is necessary, we know we're working towards a full week where they have our undivided attention, or we have a holiday coming up with our friends and we aren't losing our identity. We're not just mum and dad. We're not just business owners. We're also Chontel and Sam. And I plan holidays with my girls. I plan holidays with everyone and their couples. I plan holidays with everyone and their kids, and then just us as well, so that I know that I'm ticking all the things that really fill my cup.
Yeah.
And the work will always be a larger consumption, but I feel if you have something that you're working towards and you know it's there, it doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that there's just as much joy in planning a holiday as actually going on it. So
that's so true.
Yeah, you get the joy, think, I've done it, I've planned it, it's coming. It could be like 6 to 8 weeks away.
Buying the outfits.
Yeah, they're looking forward to and I always think about that when I plan a surprise for someone. I think, should I tell them? Because then they're going to have an enjoyment when I tell them and then when it actually happens. So I usually tell people. I'm just really bad at surprises too. So
same.
If you had one piece of advice for women wanting a career in fitness that includes being in the public eye, what would that be?
It's hard. It's have thick skin. You have to have thick skin.
Yeah.
And if your platform grows and you grow, status can really separate you from where you are right now. And what I'm talking about is relationships around you can really shift. I felt that when I started the company or the gym, and then when I got married, it happened. And then when I grew a following, it happened. And I feel so butthurt all the time because I am so loyal and I genuinely love people if I have the opportunity to be a part of their life for a season or whatnot. But yeah, just know that with growth, it comes a lot of expiry dates, I guess.
Yeah, it's like you can be successful, but don't be too successful.
Yeah. And I always say I have a really close circle of friends.
It's not a lot of friends.
Yeah, but there's the close ones. There's the real close ones. And I always say to them, if I'm winning, I need you by my side. There's no fun in standing there alone.
Yeah.
There's no fun in standing with people that I know may not love me for who I really was, but you guys did. And if you win, I'll be the one clapping the loudest. And I think, know your people, but also be okay to potentially lose some as well. But change is important and growth is important. And that's...
Is there anything you do different? Like if someone was thinking about doing it and you're saying all of this thing, is there anything that you would say to them like...
What would I do different? A lot of business things that are going to cost less.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer straight away.
Yeah.
No, what would I do different? I would probably have a lot more structure at the beginning and not just put my faith and trust that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
The unspoken rules and the unspoken loyalty and the unspoken everything.
Yeah.
I would probably be a bit more firm, but that just came with time and just learning to say no and be okay to say no and having difficult conversations. I really struggled with confrontation. I was a massive people pleaser and I still am. I think it will always be in me, but yeah. And I just think, those things really bit me in the butt because then I was too nice for so long and I didn't say anything. And they're probably my main things I would encourage is if you know how you want something, put it in writing.
Yeah.
And really be firm and clear on what you want so that with like relationships, there's no confusion.
Yeah, the expectations, everybody knows
Yeah.
where they stand.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming to the end here. But before we go, there is a question that I'm asking everyone, and this is called Never Give Up.
All right, here we go.
It's a personal mantra of mine, and I believe that it's okay to feel like giving up as long as you don't, especially with the things that really matter to you. So do you have a never give up moment you can share with us
Yeah.
and tell us why you didn't give up?
Or one, it was my children. And I think if that's that, I needed that to know the power of not giving up, because you will never give up for your kids. I went through 2 high-risk pregnancies, and the majority of the pregnancies for both of them, I was told it's an unknown. You may not have these children. So learning not to give up on faith that my body can do what it needs to, and then going through the NICU life with my twins and surrendering to the healthcare system and not being mum for a while there and leaving a hospital with nothing. These moments really made me fight, and then it just keeps going. When you have 5 kids, there's so many things that happen. But this one's heavy, and I am sorry if this is sensitive to some, but I found he was 2 at the time. It's 2 years, almost 2. In a couple of days, it'll be 2 years, the anniversary. I found my middle son, who is fine, but I found him in the pool, at the bottom of the pool, and he had been in there for 2.5 minutes. And my husband did CPR and revived him back, but I did find him and have to grab him. I think that seeing and holding something that you love so dearly and just having, sorry, Lorna.
That's okay.
And having to dig deep and believe that he's going to come back.
Yeah.
And giving him to my husband and calling the ambulance. And that, it just grows, and this abundance of power within you, and you have to dig deep. And then it gets a little bit harder, but my twins came home, and they were 6 weeks, but they were still not full term, so they were very tiny. My husband found our daughter Blue in her bassinet, and she was unresponsive, and we don't know how long she was in there for. And this was the time where I had to step up. He passed her to me as if he was just a blank canvas, and passed her to me, and it was this tiny little body. And I still remember the feeling and having to give her CPR on this fragile little body, and I had to believe that I could do this. I'm trained for this. This is what I need to know how to do for my career, and I've done it for now 12 years. Every year I get these courses done, and I thought I'd never in my days did I think I would be doing it to my own child, let alone a preemie baby. And I brought her back to life. And those moments for my husband and I just go to show that you should really never give up, no matter how bad the situation is.
Yeah.
So I'm really sorry to share that so quick. I don't think I actually told you that. But
no, but I think that's a great story because, I mean, look
I cry through my nose first.
You have beautiful, healthy children because you didn't give up on them, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I count my blessings, that's for sure.
Okay, something a little lighter. Thank you for sharing that with us.
It's okay.
Fast 5. What is the first thing you do in the morning to set yourself up for the day?
I'm the worst. I check my phone. I just want to make sure.
You shouldn't do that.
I want to make sure my team are all sorted because we open our gym at 4:30 in the morning. Yes,
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
Okay, thank you. Naughty.
No, it's not, because there's a reason, right? You're not just scrolling on social media.
Sometimes I do.
Shame. What song or artist is your go-to when you need some hype or motivation?
My go-to artist, I'm loving Thames at the moment, but it's not really hype, but I just love her voice. I love 660. And then if I'm training and I need to do some PBs, it's Travis Scott.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's a recent one too. That's Rogue for me.
She's way more into music than me, but they sound good. Proudest moment?
I just launched my own app.
I know,
did
that's a
it.
big step.
Yes.
And it's doing well. It looks fantastic.
Thank you. It's a grind. But again, we didn't give up. And now we're sitting back going, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's just going to fly. Something that surprises people about you.
I'm lazy.
You are not.
I'm the laziest fit girl. I love my downtime. I love doing nothing. If I can just be at home, laying on the couch, laying outside in the sun, no plans, holidays, if we can just stay in the one spot and do nothing, I don't need to go sightseeing and go be busy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because, do you think, because you are so busy all the time? Like, I love that. And you know, the thing that I love about my husband, because I'm the same, I just like to sloth around.
Yes.
I do feel guilty at the end of the day, though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but he likes to keep busy. But if he's, say, working on the farm and I'm just watching the Kardashians or something crazy like that, or sitting by the pool, he never makes me feel guilty. He never says, oh, because I'm working.
Yeah.
I've never met a man in my life like that
actually
before. It was
true.
always like, oh, I've done this or I've done that. And I just really love that he doesn't think like that. If I'm happy to relax and do nothing, then he's happy to do whatever he wants
Then
to
he
do.
can go do his thing.
Yeah.
No, I think it's definitely a way to recharge.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
But you're not lazy, definitely not lazy. You just
Thank
recharge.
you.
You're like a battery. Okay, last one. One word to describe 2025 for you.
Oh, new form. New form and doing what we've been doing in-house, changing these lives, doing it online. We are ready to launch our first ever challenge, this nutritional monster of an addition going onto the app that my husband's created is gun. It is it's amazing. We can have full control of who's on our app and what they need to do. I can tailor everything. I'm so excited. I'm a control freak when it comes to training people. I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to take them for a ride. And Neuform's been 100% authentically me. So not only am I showing them and doing everything I want with the training, I put ebooks with the training so they have all the information I need, but now I can control their nutrition and I can get them to where I need to be from A to B.
Wow.
The
So
way
it's
that
like having Chontel in your lounge room.
Yes, I'm so
Wow.
excited for that because for so long I've just been voice messaging back to everyone and writing back to everyone, and it's so slow and it's not specific, it's not tailored, but now I can do it.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going to have control next year. I'm so excited.
Okay, so that's it, Chontel. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Wow.
I have enjoyed chatting to you. It's lovely that we actually get locked in a room and we actually have a decent conversation with no distractions.
Well, it's been really nice to share two of the moments that you have impacted my life. So thank you for having me on today because that's now third. I'm done. Third. You're amazing.
Oh, there'll be a fourth. There'll be a fourth.
Yes!
As you know, this series is about listening and learning from inspiring women like yourself, your story, and but it's also about giving back.
Yeah.
So to honour you coming on the show, we would love to donate $5,000 to a charity of your choice. Would you like to tell us about your charity and why you've chosen them?
So I've chosen the Lady Musgraves Trust, and it supports women in, I guess, similar situations that I wish we had available or no one, I guess. It is one of the oldest charities. It's older than me. But knowing that it supports women in similar situations and help them get on their feet with their children, homes, it ticks every box for me. And I am very excited to be giving a whopping $5,000 thanks to you. So thank you for giving me the opportunity, babe.
Coming on the show, and thank you for sharing your story and inspiring so many of us. I know you inspire me.
Likewise.
Oh, there's so much love here.